Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Her Story, My Story podcast. This is your host, Abby, and your host.
Jayne, shalom family.
And welcome back, you all. It is nice to have you here with us again. Annie and I are originally from the US of A, and we have found ourselves in the beautiful country of Rwanda. And we've been there for about a year, maybe two. No, I've only been there for about a year. I feel like you've been there. Maybe you got a
Yeah,
couple months ahead of us.
yeah, like we have like 14 months here in Rwanda.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. So anybody new that's listening to us, welcome. And Janie traveled here with her husband Ben and myself, Abby. I came to Rwanda with my husband Jay and our three young boys. Their ages now are oh, they're Jace. He's about to be 8 in about a week. So 8, 6, 2. There we go. So very busy house, and that was a fun, adventurous plane trip too. So yeah. So when Janie and I get on this podcast, we don't really know where the conversation is going to go. We just get to talking. We started this podcast because we would get together and just find ourselves having these really good conversations, and they would go on for hours, and we would just lose track of the time. And we thought to ourselves, we talk about a lot of valuable information, just navigating the changes that we've experienced, coming from America and moving to a whole nother country, and what that means for each of us as individuals, and just making sense of it and making sense of a new life and just following what the Most High has for us. So it's been a challenging road, and it's been very rewarding just being able to have that fellowship and talk it out. So we thought that we could have a podcast to share some of these practical tips and insights and just have relatable content for anybody who is already here on the continent or perhaps thinking about moving here. I don't know why I gave that whole introduction, but welcome.
So Abby, how has your week been?
Sigh, big sigh. My week has been busy. I so My family is in Africa right now, but I am in the US and I'm in Michigan right now trying to take care of some business. And one of those things is to sell the house. I also came for some other medical reasons, which are completed and they were successful. So hallelujah, I'm very happy about that. So
Hallelujah.
that's one thing done. Yeah, thank you. And then also there are a couple of shipping containers that were packed full of household goods that we decided that we're not going to ship over to Africa. And that had been very time consuming because we had to empty that shipping container, and now we are in the process of trying to sell as much of it as possible through a yard sale. And there's just so much. You never know how much stuff is inside of a shipping container until you start taking it all out. And then there's more. We haven't even gotten, this is our second day of our yard sale, and we still have boxes that have not been opened and put out. So, and I got to get my house on the market by May 1st. So
Wow.
it's a whole project that I didn't see coming.
And it's April 26th. The clock is really ticking.
Mm-hmm. It is. And I come back to Africa the beginning of June. So, I have to get everything prepared and ready to go to come there
Right.
because I'm bringing two very special guests back to Africa. I don't think my kids listen to this podcast, but my Aunt Jan, she's a Nana. My kids call her Nana. So she's coming back with us. So they're very, very, very excited about that. Also, what they don't know is that their big sister, Mara, is also coming back to visit. And
I
she's going to be
don't
with
think
us for
they
about a
know.
month in Africa.
Are you sure they don't know?
Do they?
Because I was at your house, we
Yeah,
were at your house last week, and yeah, I want to say that Jace said something about the because the her bedroom is right across from theirs, right? And I think Jace said
yeah.
something
Okay,
about,
maybe
yeah, maybe they know, because I think he said, I mean, I
maybe they
know
know.
he said something about he plans on waking her up, early every day or whatever, something like that. So
I
maybe
told Jay, I was
somebody.
like, I don't think it's possible, but if we can keep it a secret, that would be awesome. But I feel like it's so hard. It's hard not to be like, yeah, I can't wait till Mira comes. It's hard to.
Yeah, because it's so exciting, right? Like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
everybody's not good at
Yeah.
keeping secrets. Like, I'm really good at keeping secrets because, like, I like to surprise people. So I'm really good at holding stuff. Ben can't hold. Oh my goodness, he just can't. Some
Don't
people are
tell him
like,
anything. Got
yeah,
it.
nothing that you don't want, anyone else to know.
You know what I think though? I think maybe because I talk to Jace, I talk to the kids every day, and they haven't mentioned anything about their sister coming. But I know that Jay has to put a bed in that room for her.
Yes,
So I'm wondering if he's just saying, I'm setting this bed up for when your sister comes, and they don't
maybe.
know if she's coming right away.
Maybe that's exactly,
So
if they haven't mentioned it to you, that must be how that went.
yeah,
Yeah,
because it wouldn't be a little thing. They'd be like, I know who else is coming. Like they would totally be, because they're just like Uncle Ben. They can't keep secrets.
yeah. Well, with a major difference, with a major difference, age, right? Like, when does it happen that you can keep?
Yeah.
But I have a brother who's like that too. You can't tell him nothing, nothing. He just can't hold it.
Yes, that's how my oldest brother is. Like, I have to be like, don't tell anyone. Like, remember, don't tell anyone. Remember. Like, because I feel like he'll try to keep it a secret and then he'll forget that it's a secret.
Yeah, I think they just get so excited, and
Yeah.
I'm like, control yourself, really. But anyway, everybody's different. Everybody got something.
Right. Control your.
Yeah,
Um,
but it's
so,
been
so yeah, that's my life right now. And I managed to get a job when I came back, which is all, by the grace of God, because it was, yeah. But it's been
so
helpful. It's definitely helping out with everything.
right. How does that work? How does the job situation work when you get back here?
Sure. Well, I mean, I won't work there anymore because I'm working in person.
Oh, so you can't do it online.
No, and it's interesting because my boss was like asking me, she was like, is May 27th is it a hard deadline or can you stay longer? And I was like, oh no, it's a hard deadline.
It's a
I'm
hard,
not,
yeah,
it's a,
yeah, it's over. That's it.
we're done.
Yeah,
Yes.
I get it.
I
I
need to
get
get
it.
back home.
To my family, I know that's
Um,
right. I know that's right. Well,
mhm.
we had a nice. It was a nice week. Like, we went. Well, Sunday. Last Sunday we went to Nehemiah to the networking event they have there for the diaspora, and so of course this was our second time going. So it was nice. You meet a lot of people. Like, I meet people that I've seen in the social networks, like Rwanda full or whatever. But I'm a little introvert. Well, not a little, but I have an introverted personality. People probably can't tell, like on a podcast, but I'd be like, "Oh, so that's the brother that be on." I don't go introduce myself, but it's just it's just always it's just nice to do that. So we did that, and then I don't know if I mentioned that this our immigration status was hanging like over. I felt like it was hanging over my head. I don't know if I mentioned that to you.
Yeah, I heard about that. Like I know Jay was talking about it, and
Yeah, and it was it,
I
it
wasn't
was
concerned. I wasn't like I was concerned, but I was just like, "Oh my gosh, what can we do? How can we like, I was just thinking like what can be done?"
well, I appreciate that, and but the Most High handled it, and Jay did right. Jay wrote a letter because of course, our land connects to your land, and so I'm just going to backtrack, okay? Because the people listening may not know the story. I know people around here know, but we had our immigration came to look at our land, and because one of the ways that you get to stay here in Rwanda, of course, long term, is by starting a business or owning, or investing in real estate or making a land purchase. So the time you can get like is 1 to 2 years, depending on, I guess, how to whatever immigration decides. It could be 1 or 2 years. And so anyway, I was going for 2 years because last time they gave us one, and I was hoping for 2 years this time. But when the immigration got the when the young man looked at our land, he didn't think that we were doing enough on it, as far as the crops
Mm.
and everything. And so he and I wasn't there because my back had went out, but my assistant Divine was there, and it was just uncomfortable hearing all this secondhand. You know what I'm saying? I should have been there and handled my own business, regardless of how I felt, right? And so he didn't feel like it was enough activity, enough crops or whatever on the land. And so it was concerning, like, what was he going to do? You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like, I prayed about it, Ben and I prayed about it. And I had the assurance that the Most High was going to provide for us. So I left it alone. And then whenever it came up, you know how things do. They come up in your head, try to get you to doubt, right? And so I would just pray again.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Ben, there's this guy that introduced himself at the networking event, and he helps people with that. Like if you're dealing with immigration and things like that, he helps people. So last Sunday when we were there, Ben shared our situation, and he called me over. I met the guy, and I told him what happened, and the guy was like, "Well, here's my card. Call me tomorrow." So now it Monday in the AM, I was just like, I don't want to call this guy because I felt reassured that the Most High was going to take care of it. So you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to like get in the way of that. You know what I mean? Like have doubt or anything like that. However, I didn't want to say anything to Ben about it. Again, like I didn't want to say I don't want to use this guy. Like just let's just wait and see what Yahuwah does, right? Girl, did you know when Ben got up that morning, he said to me, "You know what? I don't want to use this guy. Let's just wait and see what the Most High does."
Oh, the Holy Spirit was talking to both of you guys.
Yes, I love it when he does that, and I think he will do it. He would do it way more often if we shut up, right, and just pray about a
If we
situation
listen.
instead of like nagging our husbands about it, right? You know what I'm saying? Trying to get them
Mm-hmm.
to see it our way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just be quiet and pray about it. So
Mm-hmm.
that happened. So we didn't call the dude. And then I think it was Tuesday. The guy called at the last minute. The immigration man, he called at the last minute. He was like, "You can come tomorrow," and we had to go to Nehemiah versus being right here in Kigali, and that's a little trip, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we went, and I felt a little anxious, but we got a year. We got a year. I take it, right?
Yay!
Praise the
That's
Most High.
awesome.
Now, prior to that, because the immigration man had told Divine, my assistant, that we needed a letter stating that we were a part of a cooperative, like we were working with the landowner around us. Now Jay provided that
Mm-hmm.
letter, a very nice letter, I might add. He provided that letter for us, and we had it motored over to us the same day. We took care of it, but we didn't even need it. But it's nice to have it,
Wow.
but we did not
Yes.
need it because the immigration, the man who inspected our plot, he wasn't even there. So check this out. So I don't speak Kinyarwanda and neither does Ben. So we're sitting in the office and we hear the guy who was looking at my passport and stuff. He was like, business? Like he was saying like business? It was like he was asking the immigration officer who was on the telephone, like, isn't this a business? Because he wanted to give us less time, I believe. You know,
Mm.
didn't recommend the year is what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say, right? And so we
Mm.
got the year.
Oh, were
All
they
praise.
trying to give you less than a year?
That's what we believe. Yeah. So all praises to the Most High. We got a year, and that's plenty of time for us to get the dragon fruit up and all the other stuff that we're doing, right? And and I'm just grateful. So after that, after we left immigration, we went to visit a couple. Oh my goodness, I can't wait till you visit this house. They they are building some apartments on Lake Chihoha, right, in the Amada. And it's just beautiful. When you come in their gates, it's like a picture. Literally like a big picture. And so they planted all kinds of fruits and vegetables, and then above that is are some apartments. They're Rwandan style apartments, right? And
Okay.
yeah, and I
So
had been
wait, what is a Rwandan style apartment? Does that mean like really, really high ceilings and lots of stairs?
no, no, the ones we see when we're in the village and that it just has almost like a storefront, the metal
Oh,
doors,
okay.
the me- um
Got you.
yeah. So it's not very big, but it's functional, right? And so they're
Okay.
putting in bathrooms and stuff like that. Really, but what's really beautiful about it is that they have so much food. They have so much food right where they are. I mean, when crap hits the
Hmm.
fan, as we know, it's hitting, right? And we ought to know that it's going to affect everybody everywhere, right? Except for
Mm-hmm.
the elites who are going
Mm-hmm.
to probably be in bunkers, but they'll get something else. But I'm just saying, for the average person, right? Food is going to be an issue. And I had seen this place last month, and then I really want to been to see it because it's amazing what they're doing. They won't go hungry, and nobody around them will either. You
That's
know,
awesome.
yeah, they have coffee. They have coffee. They have tea, They got moringa. Yeah, yeah. They don't have any animals, and everything right now, I don't know if they plan on getting any, and everything is organically grown. So of course I took them some African bee honey, you know, and to try. But
Yes.
um but yeah, it's been a good week. It's been a really good week. And I'm glad to get that stuff behind us. Cause it's stressful.
It's
Like
amazing.
for those who are listening, like, you know, being born in America, you know, I'm not used to having to go to the immigration office. I've never been to an immigration office in the States. So it's definitely an experience that I hate. I hate feeling like,
Yeah.
somebody could tell me to leave. And guess what? I learned from the couple
Yeah.
well, from the wife of the man who we went to see. Um, she said that it used to be 5 years. She's Rwandan, right? Her husband is from the States. She said it used to be 5 years, but they went down to two. And then her husband said the reason is because we came over here and didn't act right. This he of course no names, but he talked about a brother who came over here and was just buying everything he could buy so he could sell it. you know so that put
Yep.
a bad taste in the government's mouth, which makes sense to me, right? And so of
Mm-hmm.
course he made it hard for the people who are coming in behind him. And I just want to say this
Yeah.
because I was looking at like, we hear about people in the States who are buying houses and stuff like that, especially black people. Like, you know, it's come, buy some land somewhere else. Like, other nations are here buying up the land, and the land is getting ridiculously expensive, right? And come here because Africa is rising. You know, this is your home. Come here, invest in Africa, and stop investing in a burning building. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
Yeah. Uh, that's amazing, by the way. I'm very, very happy for you and Ben about that whole situation. I really, because I wasn't hearing too much about it because clearly I'm not there. So I was only hearing bits and pieces and I never really got like the full story. So I'm glad it had a happy ending. And I pray that we get more years which I feel like you should because you're doing a lot more on your land now, now that you're really starting to develop it and stuff. So that makes
I
me
think
happy
we
because I'm
should.
like, my brain goes to worst case scenario. I'm like, they can't leave Africa. Like,
Oh, and nobody's leaving.
I'm like,
Listen, going
I know.
backwards
I'm
is.
like, but my worst case scenario is like, what if they don't get what they need? I was like, Janie can't leave.
um, Listen. On one hand, I'm still kind of adventurous. I'm older, but I'm still more adventurous. Particularly, I
Open to new
mean, I'm more
experiences.
adventurous than Ben is. Now, going
Hmm.
backwards is not an option, okay? But we're talking about 54 countries here. Africa is a
Uh-huh.
continent, right? Not a country, right? I know you know that, but just for people listening, I think sometimes people get confused about that part. And Rwanda is beautiful, it's clean, it's a soft landing, relatively speaking, right?
Yes.
But I still want to see other places. So I I am not disappointed. That's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm saying is that when I thought of that, I thought that, well, maybe we could go to Mauritius, you know? Maybe we could check out
Like
Zanzibar.
this would be the pathway. This would be the natural consequence kind of thing. Yeah.
Maybe.
That's
Yeah, I
fair.
didn't know. But
Yeah.
it still would have been painful, because I would have missed you guys. But I think that even if we did we did leave to do something like that, we would just come back. You know what I'm saying? Like the African Bee Company is still registered here. You know what I'm saying? We still have land
Mm-hmm.
here. So we would just come back. So it kind of like, if it didn't happen, it would have kind of fit into this, idea or long term goal that I have to travel a little bit and see more of the continent. Like I said, I'm a
I
little
love
more,
that. That's good.
yeah. Yeah, so that's how I was
Flexible
looking.
thinking. Yes.
So we have
Yes.
this year, y'all will, and then we know that the way time is passing, the year is going to be really quick. But again, by then the dragon fruit, all that stuff will be up, y'all will, and then we'll get to. But you and I discussed this before. I want to have an alternative place to go to, right? I want to get rooted here, like as far as a visa is concerned, and then I would like to go to another country and have some roots there in case of anything, in
Mm-hmm.
case we needed to leave. Yeah. So yeah, going back to the States was never entered my mind. The enemy, of course, talks junk, but I'm saying I never thought, oh wow, I guess we'll go back to the States. Ben and I were talking about it's like, go back to what? What exactly are we going back to?
What
You
would you
know?
come back for? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, there's,
I mean,
I
I
had a couple, like, I had to have I had a couple really good reasons to come back here.
yeah,
Well, and that turned into three good reasons.
yeah,
Things are working out, but I
yeah,
wouldn't just be like, oh, I'm gonna go back. Like, for what?
yeah. I miss my family, of course. I miss
Of
kids.
course.
But
Yes.
I'm believing that the Most High going to bring them to us. But yeah, as far as going back, like what food ain't even food, and got to know not to be
Mm.
food, and it's pricey, and everything is more expensive. And we have a nice place where we live. It's a nice environment. We're eating real food. We're breathing fresh air. When I look in the sky, I see clouds, no chemtrails. It's like
No
go
chemtrails.
right,
Yeah.
right. It's
Every
like
time somebody said, "Oh, look at the
no,
jet trail," I'm like, "That's not. That's a
that's not a
chemtrail.
jet
No,
trail. No, it's not.
no,
So
it's a
going
jet trail."
backwards is not an option. I always, you know, whenever something like that comes up, that's what I say. I have more years behind me than ahead of me, and I plan, if Most High is willing, to live to the end of my days on the continent of Africa. Yeah.
Going back to what you were saying as far as, encouraging people to come to Africa, we were doing this yard sale. So yesterday I had a couple of neighbors. There's a neighbor that lives right down the street from us, and they have an alpaca farm, and they're downsizing right now. But when we were living here, we took the kids to their alpaca farm and we fed the alpacas, and it was really fun. And they're really nice people. And they came to the yard sale yesterday just to kind of check in. They're like, we haven't been there for a year, it's been really quiet. So he was asking, and I was telling him a little bit about what Jay was doing out there, and he was like laughing. He was like, he's literally doing the same thing that he was doing in the US. I said, yes, I know. He can't help it. Like he has to plant. Like he is like a farmer at his core. Like everywhere he goes, I was like, and of course he bought land and he's doing a farm, and they were just chuckling. I'm like, and he's doing tomatoes. And he was like, that's exactly what he was doing here. And I'm like, yeah, and he's doing really well and making a lot of really good connections and um partnering with different people to get things going. And he was really interested. His area of work, other than alpacas. He has a facility in Mexico, like he had different shipments facilities, and he had one in Mexico that he's working with there, and they ship out different electronic equipment to all over the world, like global shipping. And he was like talking about how back in the day he used to be able to ship containers from Europe to the US for $4,000 or $5,000. And I was like, what? Like that would be nice because
Hmm.
now it's like 18,000 to just get a
Wow.
container across the water. And that's not even talking about customs. But I thought it was really cool because I was talking to him about how Africa is growing and he put it back to me. He was like, "Yeah, I was doing some research." And he said, Rwanda especially is anybody who's in business knows that Rwanda is growing very quickly
Yes.
and economically, and it's a really good place to kind of start a company or to start doing business or start making those connections. So he was really, really interested. I said, yeah, maybe you should do business in Africa. And he was like, yeah, I don't have any clients out there right now. Like he just seemed genuinely interested. But that, you were talking about that made me think about that conversation. Like, so people are becoming more cognizant. If you're in the business world, it's becoming more cognizant about how Africa is developing and Africa is rising. So
Absolutely.
that I thought that was really cool. Mhm.
Absolutely. And I see, as you all know, so many other nations are here. And I'm just like, I know that a lot of black people just can't afford to come right now and stuff like that. I know about the limitations, right? I just feel like
Mm,
if, but for those who have the means, you know, come while you still can or invest while you still can because it's going to
mhm,
be it's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy as far as prices go. Already the rents are raising. Like when you go back to Kigali City, the rents are high. The rents are raising up, getting high, and that's people want to say that's because we're coming, but no, it's because the landlords are doing it because they know that they can get it. It's not our fault,
mhm,
is what I'm trying to say. It's not our fault. But of course, you
yeah.
know,
Mhm,
people need somebody to blame. But yeah, we talk to like Ben talks to his great nephew, his sister, and stuff like that. And, it's just people don't want to come. People can't see the value in coming yet. And I just,
mhm,
continue to pray because other
mhm.
people are coming, y'all. Indians, I'm talking about East Indians, right? Asians, whites, everybody's coming. And we're coming too, but I'm saying we're not coming like in droves like they seem to be coming.
Yeah. I
So
think, I think it's in my own processing of being living in Africa or living in Rwanda is that yes, it's not going to be the same. You're not going to have the same things. You're not going to have access to the same things. Like maybe the food is different, but I try to look at it, I just appreciate it, right? Like we have, like in Michigan, there's the maple syrup because we have maple trees. You don't find maple syrup in Rwanda because they don't have maple trees there, right? So for me, it's just like, oh, this is just something like if I were to come back to visit, like that would be a treat. Like different places have different things to offer.
right.
I'm just saying that, not saying that I want to come back to the US regularly and like get stuff, but being open to a new way of living, new habits, new foods that you might like, and kind of developing a new life. Like if you think like, oh, it's going to be a new life instead of trying to recreate the life that you had, right? Because I don't want to live my entire life to be comfortable. I mean, I want to be comfortable, but I don't want comfort to be the thing that keeps me somewhere, or my desire to be
Especially
comfortable to keep me somewhere. Does that make
right.
sense?
Yeah, it does.
Because I think
Especially
people are
if
like, I
you're
don't want to go to Africa because it's going to make me uncomfortable. If you get to the root of it, it's about comfort. It's about this illusion of control, this illusion of like predictability and things like that, which America is not looking good right now. So I feel like that's all. That's another conversation I had with somebody how, and when you were talking about the food around that apartment, that's another thing that Jay and I really, we do that at our house. Like we just try to make sure that if we're growing something that it's food and not just flowers and plants.
right,
And so could we want to have that food available because we need food and we can't just rely on other people to give us food when we can grow our own. And I was talking to somebody, and this is a well-known fact, but Americans, like if all of our grocery stores were out of food, we could last maybe 3 days. The average household can last 3 days before they run out of food. And then there's no food in the supermarkets or anything. They're kind of like at a loss. That's how dependent Americans are on the system.
right,
And
right.
most of them don't think to like store their food, like store up food or be prepared. A lot
Yeah,
of
if
them
you
think like crazy, like why would you do that? I could just go to my neighbor. Like how ridiculous, like
if you,
think about that.
yeah, because your neighbor, it's not your neighbor has a whole family, I'm sure, to take care of, right? And
Exactly. Exactly.
why would they give you their stuff, you know? But if you're
It's
not
this
a
idea
couple,
like, oh, it's fine. Even if trouble comes, like we'll just be neighborly and help each other out, and we're in this together and stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, until it gets to the point where no one has any food, and there's maybe 5 cans of food left, and there's 5 different families. You think y'all aren't gonna fight over those cans of food just so you can
absolutely
feed your
you
own
are.
kids?
Yeah. I
So
mean,
save
even,
up for yourself. If you are in America and you're wanting to get to Africa and you're not able to right now for whatever reason, financially or anything like that, you know, stock up, put some
right,
food
stock
away,
up and
save up
pray
some food
because yeah,
and
because
pray.
I think that if you really want to do something and you feel limited or you are limited, pray about it. Because if it's the Most High's will, He's going to make a way for you. I think the want to is important. But when we were still in the States, I guess well, I don't guess I was prepping, so people would call me a prepper. You know, I've
Mhm.
been prepping and prepping and prepping for many years to the point where I was throwing stuff out and giving stuff away. But when I think about it now, Abby, like all the stuff that I was preparing for, like even like, weapons and that, like what a way to live, right? What a way to live. I'm
Mhm.
walking around our house armed. And not because I lived in a bad neighborhood either. We lived in a very nice area. What it's just that whole atmosphere. Like that's how that we were prepping and we had weapons and I'm just like, oh my gosh. It's such a difference here. I'm not saying that it's perfect here, but we can breathe here. When I see a police officer, I'm not afraid, or I'm not afraid for myself. I'm not afraid for Ben. You know what I'm saying? I'm. It's just a whole nother experience, and I like what you said about being comfortable because life is not always going to be comfortable, and sometimes you could be comfortable in a place is coming down around you, but because of that comfort you have, you can potentially go down with the ship, and nobody wants that. And coming to Africa, the person that you are right now while you're in the States, if you haven't traveled and things like that, you can't bring that person to Africa. You have to change. You know,
Mm.
the Janie that's here right now is not the same Janie that was in the States. and I'm still
Mm,
growing. I'm still growing. I'm still learning to do things in a different way. I'm still learning patience. Like I thought I was patient. I thought I thought I was a kind person too. You know, all of this is being stretched. You, in a good way. And I don't know, somebody, I was listening to somebody the other day and he said that Africa doesn't need us. And I'm like, maybe Africa doesn't need us, but we certainly need Africa because we have forgotten how to, many of us, I'm generalizing, right, have forgotten how to be grateful for just, waking up in the morning and seeing the sunrise. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking out the window
yeah,
right now and the sun is setting. I mean, that's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah, and it gives you space to just like just to enjoy your life
Yeah,
that you have. And
yeah,
it, I agree, because
yeah. So we have to be willing to change because if not, it's going to be forced on you because change is going to happen, right?
it
It's going to
is. It's
happen.
gonna happen.
It's
Yeah.
inevitable. you know. And I'm like, I
Mhm.
never was successful gardening in the States. I don't know what it was. Look, I may not be successful now, but maybe it's just because I have help. But like, thanks to Jay giving us some tomatoes and stuff. I have tomatoes out there. I have eggplant. I have beets out
Mhm.
there. I have dodo, which
Yeah.
I love dodo. And for those who don't know, that's like if you like Jamaican food, that's callaloo,
It's like
right?
It's like African kale. I don't like it.
It's better. You think I think
But I
it's
don't like
so
kale
much better
either.
than kale.
I try to like the
Okay.
dodo. I try. I try.
Yeah, but it's
No.
it's like it's callaloo. I think it's the same thing as callaloo, which I love. And so we're growing on our terrace too. And we need to grow even more because it's not enough yet. But because of something
Mm.
if you didn't have food, you're not going to drive an hour, 2 hours away where you don't want to have to. You got a farm far. The farm is far. So to have
Yeah.
stuff right there where you live is important, and that's a prep too, isn't it? That's a prep
Mhm.
to have food on your terrace
Mhm.
or in your yard or whatever, and you can do that here easily. We're from Philly, and there was a time when the authorities wanted people to register their gardens. I'm like, for what?
Register.
Yes, yes. They wanted people to register their gardens. I'm like,
And did you have to tell them what you were planting?
I wouldn't, I couldn't even tell you because I wasn't registering anything. Like, you mean to tell me I can't grow food in my backyard without, you know, telling y'all for what? But yeah, so it is different, and we have to be willing to change. It's just easier if you're willing to change. It's just easier. So
Yeah, and
yeah,
I think about it like this. I think somebody uh phrased it to me when I was younger. It's kind of like when you think about water and when water stands still, when water is stagnant, it you think of like a pond, right? And you think of like, you know, ponds have value all in themselves, but like for the sake of this metaphor, let's just think of ponds of like you're just sitting there collecting scum, it stinks, you're just stagnant water, just sitting there, like not moving, it's not getting clean and nothing like that, right? But you're comfortable.
right,
Sure, right? But then if you're like a river or a lake or an ocean and you're just moving with the tides and you're always moving but still refreshed, still going, getting the light that you need, you know, providing. the necessary life for other animals and things like that. Like, I think of it like that, like when you're living your life and the choices that you make and not allowing your your desire for comfort to keep you stagnant to where your life isn't producing things that are like cleansing and things like that. Does that make sense? I always think of it like
Does.
I want to be a river, a running river where I just constantly go and I just ebb and flow. Like I can flow over the rocks and I can go around the curve and I just keep it moving and just trust that the Most High is leading me exactly where I need to go. And some places are more comfortable than others, but I'm not going to let comfort be my end goal. And it's not going to be
Right.
the thing that keeps me where I am. If the Most High is saying, I need you to go this way, right?
Exactly. Exactly. If he's urging you to do something, do it. Obedience is always the best way, right?
Obedience is better than sacrifice.
Yeah, that's what the word says. Yes.
I should look that up, right? Like we gotta, if we put scriptures out there, we gotta back it up.
Yeah. So while you're looking that up, I'm just gonna run my mouth. While I was thinking about prepping, I some of the things some of the things we had in the States, shoot, I should have brought here with us, but we didn't know um that would be needed. But it's all good. It's all good. I'd rather much be here than anywhere else. Challenged, not challenged,
Mm,
whatever. I'd rather be here.
me too.
Did
Sorry,
you
I'm looking it
find
up. It's First
obedience?
Samuel, the Old Testament. Remember those books? Okay. Old Testament, First Samuel 15:22. First Samuel 15:22. So Samuel said, Has the Lord as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of Elohim? Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to heed than the fat of rams. Ooh. For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and
Hmm.
stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry. Because you have rejected the word of Elohim, he has also rejected you from being king.
Hmm. Yeah, that's what he told Saul, right?
That's
Yeah,
that was First Samuel 15:22 and 23. Rebellion,
obedience.
going against the word of Elohim, that's witchcraft.
That's right, as witchcraft, because witchcraft is a work of the flesh, right? So
Sure.
you just doing your own thing. You smarter than the Most High. You're wiser than Him. You're more powerful than Him. You're doing all this other stuff
Yes.
that
Yes.
instead of submitting to Him. Yeah.
Yes. That brings me to a different thought where sometimes when people don't let's talk about insecurity because that's where I feel like the Motai was kind of bringing me through and he's kind of bringing me out of that because I will always be like because he'll be I want you to do X, Y, and Z and I'm like I can't do that. I'm not qualified. I'm not like there's so many things I can't do. I'm not the person for that. That's me and that's me like being disobedient, like,
Right.
oh, I'm gonna do somebody a favor and not do that. When the Most High clearly said, go do that, and I'm letting my own fear and insecurity come in the way of saying, actually,
Right.
I know better, even though you created me,
Right.
and you know me from the inside out. And it's just kind of like how Moses, I remember when he called Moses, we reading that story about, and Moses is like, I can't even talk. Like he had a stutter or something, like he had a speech issue.
Yeah. He
And
didn't feel
he
like
was
he
like,
could
why are you
talk to
calling
people, right?
me to go talk to Pharaoh to let all the people go? You want me, the guy who can't speak, who had problems with speech. I think he was like, I can't do it. And then most times was just like, fine, I'll give you a brother. Like he was like unhappy about it, but he was just like, even then he shows us grace, but
Yeah.
Just realizing that he's fully aware of your shortcomings and he still has an assignment for you. And if he's calling you to that assignment, we can't doubt, we can't put our trust in ourselves. We have to put our trust in him. There's a reason why he's calling us to do something. So let's just walk in
Right.
obedience and not have to repent later,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, repentance is necessary, of course, but it would be nice not to have to repent so much. To just
Uh-huh.
do what we're supposed to be doing based on uh,
Mm-hmm.
what he called us to do, right? It would be great. It would be great. When I think about, like you said, about insecurities and stuff like that, that is when we're looking into our own selves instead of looking at him, right? Because
Hmm.
it's him who empowers us to do he empowers us to do whatever it is that he called us to do,
Mm-hmm.
and remembering that. But all that's a journey, right? We're all works in progress, those of us who believe that is.
Works in progress. For
Yeah.
WIPs.
Yeah. So I am,
Yes.
it takes, I ain't gonna lie, it takes a lot of faith to come to the continent. It really does. Or I think it takes a lot of faith to move to any place that you're unfamiliar with, you know? Well, if you're a believer, I would say it takes a lot of faith because there are people who have the resources and they just go.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm saying for people like me and you, and many others who have come here, we came here on faith, believing that's what the Most High was calling us to do. We answered the call, and so here we are. So it doesn't make it easy, but it's when you know that there's a purpose, when your life has purpose, it's just helpful. You don't question why you're doing this particular thing because you already know. You may not know the ins and out of it, what it's going to look like, how it's going to feel. Like when you were talking, when you gave the river or the lake analogy, where you flowing over rocks, you making turns and stuff like that. Yeah, you may not know
Yeah.
those details. You probably won't know those details, but overall that you were called to do a certain thing, and so Yah has you. You know that you're in His will because you
Mm-hmm.
answered the call, and that He has you, no matter what happens. And that's what I think about. Going back to the immigration process and stuff like that, that's what I just had to know. And then he
Mm-hmm.
comforted me by speaking to my spirit that he would provide. So what you gonna do? These little ways that
Mm-hmm.
he tells us, let us know that he has us. But not but when I think about my family and other people that I love who are in the States, I think the majority of my stress comes from that. But even in that, I have to pray, and I pray that I see my kids again, and that they see me. You know what I'm saying? Like none of this is easy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
it's doable, and someone has to do it. Someone has
Mm-hmm.
to be the pioneer. Someone has to, and if the Most High chose you to do it, you just got to do it. Somebody in your family line, somebody is going to be like, oh my goodness, I don't have to stay here. I can get out of here. You know, I have an aunt and an uncle. I have a sister. I have someone who has done this already, who's kind of paved the way. Like I told my daughter one time, what we experience and what we experience, we are like taking a hard knock, so you don't have to. How you and I we talk, we let people know, like in this podcast, that we're here to help. So
Hmm.
yeah, so some of the the things that we experienced that didn't feel too good, we can help you not experience those things, right? Make the way a little smoother for you. So that's purpose right there.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for sharing that, Janie, because that's very real. When I was younger and I was living in Michigan, I just had this insatiable pull just to leave. I just wanted to leave. I didn't want to be in Michigan. There was a lot of stuff going on, and I was just like, I just need a change of scenery. I tried to stay in Washington State for about a month with a friend of mine there. Um, but I came back to Michigan. The one thing that kept me from leaving Michigan was my mother. And because my mother was still there, and I was like 18, 19, and my mother had a stroke because she had some health condition. Because she was going through a lot, and her life kind of changed to where she was a little more dependent. She was still functioning fine, but she was a little more dependent. And, I love my mother. I just didn't want to be far from her. So it kept me from
Right,
leaving Michigan. It's interesting because even when Jay and I, were planning to move to Africa, my mother was still with us, but she passed the same year that my third born, he was born later. She passed halfway through the year, and then I had my third child. And after that, my father was already passed. And after that, I just felt complete peace to leave. And because I knew like that would weigh on my heart. If I was
hmm,
all the way in Africa, my mom is still, and I know your mom is still living. So I can only imagine how that feels. And I feel like the Most High is going to honor you for you stepping out in obedience, right? But I think it's important to touch on that piece because I think that's what a lot of people maybe they don't want to move to Africa because they don't want, because they know they'll be leaving a lot of loved ones behind. And I think that's
right.
hard.
If it is very difficult, um, and like I want to say that it's exciting in the beginning, right? Because you get ready to go on an adventure. Well, I'll say for me it was exciting, but yeah, I spent time with my mom before we left, and we flew out of New York, and so we took her home. We took her home. We slept couple hours on her couch, and we had to go to the airport. However, like before that, she was like with us in Philly for a couple weeks before we left. So yeah, I was still in adventure mode, but like now, like as time is passing, it's weighing more
Mm-hmm.
heavily on me. Like
Mm-hmm.
my mother, I have a son, I have a daughter, I have grandkids. It's definitely not easy, but I do want to say that if things are going, um, like if well, okay, so we bought my mom her passport because if it was up to me, she would be here. She doesn't want to be here, right? So we bought her a passport. We bought my daughter a passport. Just trying to say, listen, just come. Like you don't want to come now, but you may want to, and then you'll have that, right? That little book that you need. So it is harder. But what I want to say is this: if 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 the West is in decline, right? And it is, and us being there with everybody else in decline, how can we help? You know, somebody got to come out so
Right.
so so we can help, and that's
Mm-hmm.
and that's some of the things that keeps me going. Like I know that I was called out, and I trust the Most High that I'll see my family again, and then they'll see me, like, you know, and again, it's not easy. I feel weepy right now that we're talking about it, but I know
Naturally.
that I did what I was called to do. That we did what we were called to do, rather, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
y'all willing, we'll see these people when it's time for them to flee, when they wake up and see that, oh, I got to get the heck up out of here, we'll have some
Mm-hmm.
place for them to come. And that's
Mm-hmm.
why I talked about the brother and the sister who built some apartments and all that on their land. That is my dream. Before we
Mm-hmm.
even came here, that's what I wanted to do. Buy residential land, build little houses on it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta design Ben said he can't do unconventional. He said he needs a conventional house, but whatever. I'm sure there's a way to combine a Rwandan structure with something that might be appealing to him, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And just I wanted to have like a few tiny houses on our land, because what are people going to need when they come? They're going to need food, they're going to need shelter, and they may
Mm-hmm.
even need clothes because they done ran out with what's on their
Mm-hmm.
backs, literally.
Yeah.
You know, this may seem like a sad conversation, family, but it's a reality.
It's a reality.
You can't. Yeah, it's a reality.
The thing I wanted to add to that is what does it say in the Bible? It says it rains on both the good and the wicked, and um what I take from that is this principle of life isn't going to be easy, but I'd rather live it with Yahuwah. And it's easier for me as I grow in my walk with Yahuwah. It's easier for me to, uh, I can't, easy is not the right word. I, like, when I obey Yahuwah, it's literally come from a place of love. Like, like you were saying, I can't remember exactly how you were saying it, but he's got us, he's holding us, through everything that he's asking us to do, he's holding us and he knows the pain, he knows the sacrifices that you're making, and he's calling us higher, he's calling us to a purpose, the purpose that he has in us, and calling us to something bigger and greater than we could even fathom,
Right.
so I just know that, and I keep wanting to say easy, but it's not easy, but I love him. He has, he has been so good. He is just so good to me. And that's the experience that I have in my relationship with Yahuwah. And just knowing that he's got my back through everything. And I've been through some stuff. I've lost people, I've lost a brother, I've lost dreams, I've lost a lot of pieces of myself or how I thought my life was going to go and things like that. And who had been the one constant. And he's been there. He had been my Prince of Peace. He has been my comforter. He has been my rock. He's been my strength. He's been my joy.
Everything.
And
Yes.
I can't. Oh my gosh, there's this song said nobody ever cared for me like, and the song says Jesus, but it's like nobody ever cared for me like Yeshua. Like no one's ever gonna care for me like he does. And that's what keeps me at peace. That's what keeps me going. All the questions that go unanswered, I know that he's holding them in his hands. And
Right.
even in Psalm 37, I think it's verse 4, it says, "Delight yourself also in the Lord, and he will give you
He will give you
the
the
desires of
desires
your
of your
heart."
heart. Yes.
And so I'm like, it's not even about following rules and regulations and things like that. This is my guy. This is my dude. This is Yahuwah. Like he did so much for me, you know?
It's literally a love thing.
It
It
is.
really is. There's a song. Oh yes, by BB Winans. It's old now, but I forgot the album that it's on. But it's a song on there. It's a love thing, cause literally that's what it is. Like if you love Yahuwah, and you love Yahusha, you're gonna obey. You know, and again, like you were saying, the wonderful part, I mean, for us, is that if we know that we did what he wanted us to do,
Mhm.
and so we get to that place or we do that thing, and it looks chaotic. It looks like, oh my gosh, I don't have enough, or whatever
Mhm.
it looks like. You could look right at him and say, listen,
Right.
I did what you asked me to do. So you know all about this, and I know that you're going to take care of it. I know you got me.
Right.
And that's important.
Right.
Now, everybody doesn't have, you know, that kind of faith. And I think that, faith is built like a muscle, right?
Uh-huh.
It's built.
Yep.
So, now I often tell my daughter, I'm like, just stay prayerful, and whatever, it is my opinion that what you need is the want to. Because if you have the want to, regarding something that the Most High has said in His Word or spoke to you personally, you have the want to, and you say yes, He's going to provide. He's going to provide the means, He's going to provide the resources. And like you were saying earlier, even if it's something internal, like, oh, I can't do that, I don't speak well, or whatever, who gave you the mouth to speak, like. So
Hmm.
it is all about faith. It really is. And coming here has definitely been a faith move. I don't think I would be presumptuous in saying that you coming here and then having to go back to take care of the business that you're taking, it's a faith move as well, because you got to have faith that he's with you on this, and he's going to get you back up out of there. You're going to be with you know what I'm saying? Everything that
Yeah.
we do when we believe is a faith. Well, it should be
Yeah.
a faith.
Absolutely.
A faith walk, a part of our faith walk, rather. I was talking to Ben earlier about I had said Hamp and Gwen. Oh my goodness. They have like nine members of their family, I think, are here now. You know? And I'm like,
Like
wow.
permanent?
Yeah. I
What?
think it's
I just thought
nine.
they were just visiting. That's awesome.
No. And I was just like, oh my goodness, what a blessing that is.
Yeah.
What a
That's
blessing that
awesome.
is. You know? And I said to Ben, we haven't even been able to convince one yet. but
Mm.
whoever's supposed to come will come when in
Mm-hmm.
y'all's time. But I just like, wow, I love the unity that I see in their
Yeah.
family. I love that. And I think, you know that's they are an example of how we're supposed to be with one another. So I think about those things, and I'm just like, my family, unfortunately, we don't even get along in the States. Like, baby, you was like, you know what? I got to do some mind changing first. Like, I got to change some attitudes before I bring them to the motherland. You know, I don't,
Right.
I don't know, but I just pray
Okay.
for their safety
Mhm.
and that they get to come out. I was listening to someone, and I always read the comments, right? And in the comments,
Yes.
somebody said, you said that somebody was speaking to the person who, the creator of the podcast, and he said, "You said that you need millions to move to Africa," and I'm like, I think I think that if people are waiting to save, that may make them stuck. I suggest doing like if it's something that people can do, like start a business now, maybe online or something like that. Heck, get a stream of income now and then go, because really you'll go through your savings.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to go through your savings. So what you
Mm-hmm.
need is steady income. And guess what? The whole world is changing. That's a conversation for another day. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, I
but I
think that's a
wouldn't.
good point though, because all you
Yeah.
need is a passport, and if you have a car, sell your car. If you're paying your rent, I know it's at least $2,000 a month.
Mm,
$2,000 will buy you a plane ticket.
mm,
So, if you do like, I think there's many different ways that you can establish an income. Whether if you're older and maybe you're retired, you got money like that, like you don't really need that's probably the easiest way. But if you're younger, like myself and Jay, like Jay came here with an idea for a business and he doing what he was already doing here. So it's not like he's reinventing the wheel. He's taking his passion, like what he loves to do, and just bringing it to Africa and thinking, okay, and he's doing the best he can with what he has, and he's learning a lot. Like just he's just hitting the ground running and he's learning as he goes, you know. And same thing with you. You were doing honey already, and then you brought it to the continent, and bringing what you know and learning as you go, right? And
right,
so, like for me, like if you're in healthcare, it's really easy to do stuff online. And sometimes people are hesitant because, well, it's different. You know, it is different. You know, I'm an occupational therapist. It looks different virtually than it does in person, but it's also versatile, you know, and that's something that I can start, you know, kind of looking into more as far as establishing a stream of income. But I also know that they don't have very many pediatric OT, if any, in Kigali. So I know that I have a service, especially in the school systems, that people want and need. And it's just a matter of getting myself out there and talking to people and marketing it. You know, if you're a nurse, there's plenty of nursing positions here, and you can be a nurse online. You can be a consultant. You know, there's different things you can do healthcare wise. You know, if you're business savvy, like what are you passionate about? And how
right.
can you use it to start a business?
And
Just
while
start
you're
thinking like that.
right, and while you're figuring that out, like even you start your business, you still doing things here. At least in Rwanda, is going to look different. However, if you can have a stream of income,
Yes.
that's gonna serve you well, right? While
Mm-hmm.
you're establishing
Yes.
your business, and like you said, Jay is boots on the ground. He's doing whatever it takes, right? And
Yes.
along with that, he has a stream of
Yes.
income, and he has a wife who
Yes.
has a stream of income. So that's what I
Yes.
would say to
And
people.
I'm open for homeschooling. That's the other thing, because there's
Yeah,
families out there that have kids, and schools here can be a little bit expensive, but there's a whole homeschool community that you can be connected to. And if you're open to homeschooling and just being flexible with how you arrange your schedule and your life, like you can make it happen.
yeah. It's not impossible by any means. So I wouldn't stay in a place that's on fire waiting for my money to build up, to build up, to build up. You
Exactly.
know,
Yeah, I
I'm
agree
not
with that.
saying I'm not saying run broke, but I'm just like Abby, like you just said, the money that you're paying already, the money that you're paying out, that money can serve you, right? Like 2,000, $2,000 could be 3, 4 months rent here.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah,
know,
because if you think about it,
you
internet, like
know.
if you got a place to live, you might be paying $100 a month in rent, USD dollars in rent. If you move to Rwanda, you could find a place and pay only $100 to $200 in rent. you could pay $20 for internet, and their phone service is even cheaper. But I don't even use the phone service. I just use like WhatsApp
Right.
and just
Right.
the internet. 'Cause that's what most people use here. They use a WhatsApp number. And if
Yeah.
you are trying to talk to the locals, you usually have your own local because you need somebody that speaks the language. So
Yeah.
if
So don't
your
let.
money that you're making in the US goes a lot farther. So
Right.
you don't have to, even if you do have some money saved, like you said, like maybe don't come broke, but if you don't have a lot, you don't need a lot.
Yeah. Like we're definitely not advising come broke. What we're saying is what you just said, Abby. You don't need a lot, and while you're there trying to build a lot, guess what? You can end up making it more difficult to get out than it has to be.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
that's what I want to say about that.
I think that's valuable information. So good. Oh my gosh. I know when I get off this podcast, I have to go back to this yard sale.
Well, I hope when you get out there, you find a lot of stuff gone that people have come
Ooh, wouldn't that be
purchased.
nice?
Yes.
Yes.
Because at this point, it's not even as much about the money as it is just getting rid of the stuff, right? Like you're
It
just trying to
is.
get
That's
rid of the
right. I'm
stuff.
like, fill this bag and you can have it for $1.
Yeah, girl, shoot. Too bad you're not in Philly or something like that. You have people running over there.
Vacation is everything. Like we're just out in I had one girl, I was selling these beautiful African print chairs. And this girl came in and she was like, I got lost. And she said, coming out here reminds me of being in Louisiana in the bayous. And I was like, oh wow.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, I'm saying like if I was in more of like a city area, I feel like we would have a lot more foot traffic. But it is what it is. Like I
Yeah,
said
you
before
deal
we
with
started
it.
recording, I only have one house, so
Right.
I gotta
Right.
use what I have.
Right.
All right. Well, this has been wonderful as always. I feel like this is my catch up with Africa talk for right now. Like,
Yeah. This is good. I mean, I hope it's good for the people listening. It's definitely good to see your face. It's good to be
yes.
able to connect with you this way.
Hmm.
Definitely.
And then I think the next time we do a recording, it will be May, and I think we have some very fun episodes coming up. I know we're going to interview somebody that's very eclectic and unique, and I think everybody
Yeah.
will enjoy that interview for sure. So
Yeah.
I know that's coming up in May, probably among other things, as we count down Abby's return to Africa.
Right. Very exciting.
All right, fam. Well, shalom to everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today on this podcast. We are very happy to be here with you all. And like Jane said at the beginning, we are here for you if you have any questions about moving to Rwanda or even to the continent. We do have some resources available for you. And if you have any questions, we can answer them for you, or maybe just help you problem solve some things, help maybe figure out some possible streams of income that you could look into, things like that. Not that we have anything set up, but we are definitely willing to be part of that conversation if you need somebody to just who's on the inside, somebody who is in on the continent to be able to give you feedback on some of the ideas that you have. That's what we're here for. You can reach us at Her Story, My Story podcast at gmail.com, or you can leave a comment under this video. Once again, we're here for you and we love you, fam. Shalom.
Shalom, fam.